Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity in Naperville. Thanks for joining us this morning. What a morning so far. If you don't know about this, watching online, today is our backdoor Sunday. Yes, it's a big experiment to see, one, how well you remember what you were told. Two, how you felt about that, because we're all about feelings here. What was it like for you to completely change? I'm guessing how many of you came through that door today for the very first time? Yeah, we have regular folks here that haven't ever been through that door. So thank you for that.
Can I say something?
Yes.
It was very weird for me seeing people come through my door.
Yeah, I don't. Who do you think you are?
What?
Yeah. Just keep it up, because this is feeding right into my sermon today. So good job. And if I haven't met you, I'm Kitty Benson. I'm the minister here at Unity. And as you've probably heard, we're in a construction zone right now. The front half of our building is under construction. And if you just couldn't resist and you had to go in and take a peek, which I say, yeah, go in and take a peek, you'll see that we tore down a wall, we built a closet, and we are halfway there. We've still got a lot more to do up front in order to create more space for community and our community cafe. So we're excited about this, and we're hoping that by Easter we're going to have some stuff to show you. So if you haven't been here lately, I hope you'll choose that day to come and be with us. And today we've got a few things on our plate, but we'll talk more about that as we get there. What are we singing first today? Come as you are. I forgot to point out the fact that the people here in the room are the ones who are normally early risers, right? Since we lost an hour of sleep last night, but hey, you're an early riser anyway, so you're ready to go. For you home in your PJs that are just like, oh my gosh, it's coming through, I'm on live stream. Welcome. We're glad that you made it, no matter where you are and what you're dressed in. So thank you for that. And we like to sing first off just to get our energy going, especially today. So if you like to stand when you sing, you're welcome to do that. If you like your comfy chair, stay where you're at. Let's sing.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Let's sing together.
Come, take a hand. Come, give your heart. Come, as you are. Come, and come. Lift your voice. Come, shine your light. Come, now is the time. Come. This day we have made with God. Come see what love has done. Come, take a hand. Come, give your heart. Come, as you are. Come, lift your voice. Come, shine your light. Come, now is the time. Come, as we gather in this sacred space. Spirit leads us face to face. Come, take a hand. Come, give your heart. Come, as you are. Come, and come. Lift your voice. Come, shine your light. Come, now is the time. Come. Yes. We truly come as we are, kind of like the front room. You don't have to have it all together. We just show up and be exactly who we are in that moment. So thank you for showing up and being here. I invite you to continue to raise your heart, raise your head, raise your hands, and give all that you have. 1, 2, 3, and through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands, that's it. Through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. A mighty river is flowing, bringing life to the land. Abundance flows as I fully extend, from head to heart to hands. Through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. Through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. I share from the bounty, because I understand. More blessings flow as I simply roll, from head to heart to hands. Here we go. Through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. Through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. Let's sing that again. Oh, through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. Through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. From head to heart to hands. From head to heart to hands. Yeah.
Woo! All right, let's take a deep breath. Feel it coming out your hands. Hands alight with light, meant to be put to good use today, trusting that it is the Spirit of God within us that starts in the heart, flows both ways through us, that we take steps in spirit, we take actions in spirit, all from that core center of love and divine wisdom. Grateful Spirit to have this presence and power working through us all the time. This is the way it is, and now we let it be. So it is. Amen. And will you help me speak our invocation? The words are up here on the screen. Together? There's only one. Am I saying it right? Hello? We lost an hour of sleep, people, but time to wake up. All right, together. There's only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Thank you. You may be seated. I know you need it.
I'm raising
the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil, and I want to know you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil, and I want to see you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil, and I want to hear you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil, and I want to feel you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil, and I want to praise you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil, and I want to love you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil, and God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we had Don and Diane as our outdoor parking lot attendants helping us. Thank you. Just to give you a little extra instruction on what the heck's going on today. So thank you for that. And welcome into this journey called Unity. We're on a journey toward Easter this month. So we've got a message series going on called Break Out the Light. When we think of the light associated with Easter, we think of resurrection and new life. And we tell Jesus' story typically in a Christian church. But last week we asked the question, are we Christian? And when we gave you a chance to weigh in, it turns out about 2/3 of you said yes, and 1/3 of you said no. And when we asked Unity ministers around the country, about 250 of them weighed in, and 2/3 of them said no, and 1/3 of them said yes. Yeah, that's kind of the fun of Unity is we offer these universal spiritual principles. And if you interpret them through the lens of Christianity, then that's what works for you. If that's not the background you came from, they still work for you, right? Have you discovered that? Yeah. So we've been looking at this idea of how unity fits into the Christian theme. And there's a couple ways that we describe it versus the noun it is Christian to a description that sounds like, for instance, our co-founders of Unity, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, came from a Christian background. but they like to describe unity as practical Christianity. They looked at the teachings of Jesus and they thought, these only work if we're actually living them. And so they found ways to take his teachings and live those practices. I tend to use the word progressive Christianity. For me, it's about focusing on the Christ of Christianity, which is God expressing as spirit in each one of us uniquely. We would say the definition of the Christ is the individualized expression of God, expressing uniquely in each one of us. And as we move closer to Easter, we're going to talk about different ways that unity works with the Christ spirit and what our ultimate goal is, resurrection and new life in us, in our consciousness, a deeper understanding of who we really are as spirit. So that's a daily work, not just in the Easter season, but thanks for hanging out with us. One of the things that unity does that's different from pretty much any tradition I'm aware of, and someone's going to have to help at that door, I think. Just give it a try. It could just be the wind that says, I want in here too. Okay. So one of the ways that we do things a little bit differently is we interpret the Bible metaphysically. Last week I showed you this pamphlet we give out in our welcome packets, which kind of breaks down the main ideas of our tradition and what we believe about those spiritual principles. And what we say about the Bible up here on the screen is this. Unity studies the Bible as history, an allegory, and interprets it as a metaphysical representation of humankind's evolutionary journey towards spiritual awakening. We honor the writings as reflecting the understanding and inspiration of the writers at the time they were written. So there's a lot going on here that contributes to what we call the Bible. Centuries and centuries of writings by a whole bunch of different writers. How many of you knew that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John were not written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John? Surprise. Yes. As a matter of fact, they don't know. All the Bible scholars have studied and explored. They don't know who wrote those. They assume they were followers of those disciples who each taught the story a little differently. Hey, this is where we come into a whole bunch of denominations, right? Teaching things differently from our own points of view. So we're taking a look at the Bible metaphysically, meaning, well, heck, what does metaphysics mean? Let's look up here on the screen and see what this says. It's the study of the science of being, of existence. How did we get here? What are we in truth? What is our true reality? That's the study or the science of being that transcends the physical. So it's not about studying physics as we do in school. It's not studying biology, which is also physical, like we did in school. It's studying beyond physics. That's what meta is, beyond. Facebook stole our very key word. I'm sure it means a whole lot different interpretation than what we're talking about here today. So metaphysics, the study of being, that which transcends the physical, and when interpreting the Bible metaphysically, rather than focus on literal facts, we study the divine ideas beyond or behind the physical. So if you read any story in the Bible, there's going to be people or places or activities mentioned. What if each one of those elements were actually aspects of our own consciousness, what's going on in our own state of being? When we do that, we have greater self-discovery, who we are, why we're here, how we should approach this thing called physical life. So we're going to do that today. Now, who gets to decide what the words mean, what meaning or metaphor they stand for? You do. You follow your intuition on this. But Charles Fillmore was a big fan of Metaphysical Bible Interp. He wrote a Metaphysical Bible Dictionary that's about that thick, like a normal dictionary. And he took just the proper names and places out of the Bible, and he got a dictionary this thick. He didn't just make up these interpretations himself. He was a student of these ideas of allegory and metaphor that came from all kinds of spiritual traditions. So we can look up any name or place in the Bible, find it in the dictionary. Then there's a smaller version called the Revealing Word. And that's more common day languaging from the Bible, things that you and I can experience on a regular basis. But it's all intended to be aspects of our own consciousness. And if you want to check out some of the interpretations of these words, you can open those books for free online at take that out, truthunity.net. Truthunity.net. Mark Hicks has done a wonderful job of putting the classic materials of New Thought onto that website. So look it up and have a little fun with your Bible. Did you know the Bible's online as well, in case you don't have one? So you can have some fun. It totally reintroduces the Bible to you, I think. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at a story from the Bible, one that involves Jesus. Since we're heading into Easter, we're taking a look at something he experienced on his way to crucifixion and resurrection. And this is a story that comes from the book of Matthew, also in the book of Luke, starting in chapter 4 from Matthew. It's lengthy, so stay with me. We'll have it up here on the screen. Then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. He fasted 40 days and 40 nights, and afterwards he was famished. The tempter came and said to him, "If you're the Son of God, command these stones to become loaves of bread." But he answered, "It is written, one does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him to the holy city and placed him on the pinnacle of the temple, saying to him, "If you're the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it's written, he will command his angels concerning you, and on their hands they will bear you up, so that you will not dash your foot against a stone." Jesus, he's being kind of a snot, right? Okay. Jesus said to him, "Again it is written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. And he said to them, "All of these I will give you if you will fall down and worship me." Jesus said to him, "Away with you, Satan, for it's written, worship the Lord your God and serve only him." Then the devil left him, and suddenly angels came and waited on him. Who's heard that story before? Okay. So, this is where we start in metaphysical interpretation. You can kind of tell that story out loud, what's really happening in the story. Literally, what's really happening in the story. Jesus went into the wilderness to fast. It means don't eat, in his case, for 40 days. And while he was there, the devil showed up and started tempting him with various options. And ultimately, he said something that made the devil leave. So that's the literal story. Now we do the metaphysical beyond the literal story, and we take a look at some of the elements of the story. So what do you think some of the key words or elements of the story are? Shout them out. The devil. What else? Doesn't just have to be people, though. What else did you hear in that story that was going on? Wilderness. Fasting. Temptation. We left out Jesus. He was there. Okay, you get the gist, right? All right, so let's take a look at what Charles Fillmore might define these elements to mean metaphysically, which is aspects of our own consciousness. The wilderness, up here on the screen, is defined as undisciplined, uncultivated thoughts. How many times do you feel like you're in a wilderness when your thoughts are undisciplined? They're just all over the place. They're kind of making it hard for you to take action, to do anything, because you don't really know what the best choices are or what's really going on here. You mentioned the term fasting. So we mean, at this time of on the calendar, on the Christian calendar, there's a lot of people fasting. If you came out of the Catholic background, especially during the Lenten season, leading up to Easter, you might give up something. What kind of things do people give up at Lent? Chocolate, meat, alcohol, swearing. Here's a suggestion: social media. What's the deal about that? It's the whole idea of giving something up at Lent is kind of a symbol. You comparing yourself not literally with Jesus, but the actions of sacrifice that Jesus made in his literal story. That we're giving up certain things that have meaning to us or that's part of our everyday life so that we can discipline ourselves. Sometimes people think of this as a penance that you're paying for your sins or to get closer to God. Lots of different reasons that people might fast during the Lenten season, giving up things. In the metaphysical interpretation, fasting is about abstaining from error thoughts, giving up those traditional ways of thought. Now, they don't have to be anything terrifying or incredibly powerful. I want you to think about what happened just now. What happened to you just now? You were distracted. Yeah. And thank you for distracting us. You came in at the perfect time. Welcome to Unity. So you probably felt an unsettled feeling in you, right? Unsettled feeling. That's a very mild example of a temptation that comes up in us and says, things aren't going my way. Things aren't going the way I'm used to them going. How many of you discovered you were going to have to work harder to get to your seat if you normally sit over here? Unsettling. You know, it's like, who do they think they are? This is really a stupid idea. Yeah, a bit of judgment might come up for you, right? Okay, so those are just simple examples of temptation. In the literal story, when we get to temptations, we're talking about the stones, making stones turn into bread. And who was the person that brought that up for us in the story? The devil, Satan, right? So guess what he represents? Ego. Yeah, that part of ourself. 40 days, sorry, I'm getting off track for you. So just throw them all up there, Tony. We're talking about abstaining from error thoughts. So when those thoughts come up from our ego consciousness, we have an opportunity to abstain. The 40 days that Jesus was there is basically the idea of completeness. You go through an experience like this until it's complete for you. And in the way I learned it in Unities in seminary was as long as it takes. Do you remember how many days Noah was on the ark? 40. It was 40 days, right? Anybody? Okay. How many years were the Israelites walking through the wilderness? 40 years, yeah. 40 is just a number used, a symbol, to represent as long as it takes to come to completion in whatever your journey is about at this moment. And then we talked about Jesus as representing the Christ consciousness in us. We speak of that regularly here. That in the stories that, we're not saying Jesus didn't exist. We are saying that the devil doesn't exist. We're saying that is a portion or an expression of our lower self. But Jesus we see as that of history that lived a life that demonstrated and modeled for us what it's like to live from your Christ consciousness. And that's what we're here to do today. Learn how to live from our Christ consciousness when all those temptations are coming up for us. So the devil is tempting him with turning stones into bread. He's famished. He might actually be able to do that, but he turns him away. Jump off the tower. See if the angels will catch you. Didn't choose to do that. If you worship me, we'll let you rule over nations. Didn't choose to do that. So we don't typically have some guy in a red suit with pointy ears and a pitchfork show up and offer us these kinds of things. We have an ego who shows up and offers us all kinds of opportunities to get upset or judgmental or afraid, angry, hurt, name all the negative emotions because something's going on out here in the world that we don't like. And that ego will tell us regularly, they're wrong, I'm right, I'm better, they're worse, or I'm not enough, you're better than me. So this is a very common experience for human beings. Pretty much from as soon as you're sentient enough to recognize what's going on around you and start to be able to figure things out, you start to stack up these stories. And they start to inform how you're living your life. So what's interesting in that literal story is when the temptations come up for Jesus, he didn't destroy the devil, did he? He controlled the devil. What did he do? Do you remember? Yes, but what did he do to make him go away? He used words. He quoted scripture. He quoted scripture. the Word, spiritual truth. That's the opposite of error thinking. Error thinking is what we want to fast from, to give up, to turn away from. We want to pivot in consciousness over to the Christ in us and follow that inner guidance of God. So he controlled the devil using words. And you and I can do that as well. We can fast from error thinking, from dishonesty, from unworthiness, and point our consciousness in the direction of what is true, what is based in spiritual truth. Now, you might think this is a little weird, but hey, it's me. This Broadway show came to mind, and we're going to play an audio for you here because I didn't dare clip it from YouTube, or you know who would shut us down. And I also didn't want to sing it because you'd be really disappointed. So instead, we're speaking this part of the Broadway show. And let's take a listen first. And I'm just going to offer that you metaphysically interpret it so you'll be ahead of the game. I'm sorry. Can we start it again? Can we start it again? You're good? Okay. Go back to a slide just before and then move into it. All right, let's give it a try.
Elfie, listen to me. Just say you're sorry. You can still be with the wizard, what you've worked and waited for. You can have all you ever wanted. I know, but I don't want it. I can't want it anymore. Something has changed within me. Something's not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. It's too late for second guessing. It's too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts and close my eyes and leap. I'm through accepting limits because someone says they're so. Some things I can't change, but till I try, I'll never know. Glinda, come with me. Think of what we could do together. Unlimited. Together, we're unlimited. We'll be the greatest team there's ever been. Dreams the way we plan them. If we work in tandem, there's no fight we cannot win. Just you and I defying gravity. They'll never bring us down. Well, are you coming?
Well, are you coming? Oh, this is going to be fun, you guys. To be able to interpret this. How many of you saw the original Wizard of Oz with Judy Garland? Okay, so pretty much everybody, when you see that woman come in with the black dress and the black pointy hat and the green skin, you know that she's wicked, right? She's the wicked witch of the West. And when you see that beautiful, blondish, curly-haired, loving, kind witch of the North, she was the good witch, right? Glinda. And sparkling with light. Everything about her said good. The roles are reversed in Wicked. Did you figure that out? If you've seen, how many of you have seen the show? Oh my gosh, if you haven't, you are missing something. And so, spoiler alert, but part of this is recognizing that even though she's got green skin and wears a pointy hat, Elphaba is representing compassion and truth in us. Glinda, not so much. Vain, materialistic, manipulative, trying to, just arrange all of life to serve her and to get whatever she's wanting. And she's trying to get Elphaba to do the same. Who cares that the government's corrupt? Just, tell them you're sorry and play the game and do it their way, and then you can have anything you want. Who does that sound like? Our ego. It's the ego that she's representing. And it made me think of this song, which I probably shouldn't try and sing, but we are living in a material world, and I am a material girl. Yeah, so we all have that. Even if you're a man, I'm just offering that there is a consciousness within us that can tend to be materialistic, focused on power, focused on being loved. We all want to be loved no matter what gender we are. So here we are in this story, and now metaphysically, if we're looking at these faces and thinking of Glinda and Elphaba, By the way, I just have to say this. I think I heard about Elphaba. Do you know where that name came from? So the author of The Wizard of Oz is L. Frank Baum, right? Did I say that right? Anybody know? So the initials L, F, B, Elphaba. Elphaba. That's where she got her name. I think that's so cool. All right. Sorry, I got off track. All right. So here we have the material girl, the ego in us that needs everything out here to work just so I'm safe and I get everything that I want. And then we have Elphaba, who is not bound by her senses any longer. She's not going to pay attention to what the world is doing. It's an opportunity for us to see with our eyes and say, oh, that's the way it is. Everybody has to play by the game. Or we could look inside and say, there's only one power and one presence working in my life. We fast from those old, worn-out ideas that are not serving us, and we turn towards the Christ presence. And just as Jesus did not end the devil, we don't see Elphaba trying to end Glinda. What does she do? She calls to her. She says, come on, let's work together. And we are actually meant to do that in this experience we're having on earth. We come in as spirit, and we have this synergistic relationship with the ego, intended on purpose, so that the spirit can guide our humanity to a higher point of view. It's constantly calling us, are you coming? Are you coming? We have an opportunity when we join or train, let's put it that way, when we train our ego about what is true, that's an opportunity to set your beingness free. It's an opportunity for you to defy gravity. Everybody deserves a chance to fly. You've been given the opportunity to fly, as the song goes, if you know it. And the question is, will you get the ego to work with you? Will you follow your higher self's instructions in this? Fast on error thinking. So keep in mind that from the time we're born and we start understanding what's going around us, that subconscious, which is another way to describe the ego part of ourself, that subconscious is where it lives. And it has been working its entire life to build up a belief about things. So just wherever you're at in your life right now is the result of what you've got stored up in your subconscious, good, bad, or indifferent. It's your looking at the world, making decisions about it, giving it meaning, and storing it in the subconscious. And as you do that, it begins to inform your actions and your decisions. So first of all, we have to understand that about ourselves. There's been studies done on it that say 95% of what you're doing every day is coming out of storage. You don't even have to think about it. It just pops out of you. So we probably believe often that, hey, nobody's going to do this for me. I'm on my own. I'm in charge. I'm the one that's got all the power here. Or I have no power. I'm really bad at this. I'm not worthy enough. Either one of those points of view about ourselves could be dominating our lives right now, because we're not fasting from error thinking. We're actually letting those temptations come up and rob us of our life. Jesus said, what good does it do to gain the whole world and forfeit your life? What good does it do, Glinda, to go along with the story and get a bunch of material things in your hand and still be miserable and still not really understand your meaning for life and why you're here? Our goal here is to defy gravity by bringing our ego along with us, training it in the spiritual truths, recognizing that God life is informing our body, not disease, that God wisdom can guide our thoughts, not lies, error thinking, that God love can point us towards our good and the good of all other beings at the same time, if we will let it. And these qualities of God are always available to us. So we're here to train the ego to start walking that path. Jesus pivoted his consciousness there towards the end of the scripture that I read to you. He said this, away with you, Satan, for it's written, worship the Lord your God and serve only him. And then the devil left him, and angels came and waited on him. It's a beautiful example of what we call denials and affirmations, our prayer language. Denial was, away with you, Satan. There's other scriptures where he says, get thee behind me, Satan. That's our fasting from error thinking, turning away from what is not true. And our affirmation is, when the angels come to nourish him, we see angels as a metaphysical interpretation of divine ideas. So we want to say, away with error thinking, come on, divine ideas. Affirm the truth, deny what is not true of God. So we're fasting from error, we're feasting on truth. So let's take a couple exercises up here on the screen, and I'll be the leader and speak the first part, and then I'm going to ask you to respond with me so we can start to get a feel for what this is in our real life. So here's the first one. When tempted to criticize others, to make myself feel worthy, I fast from judging, I feast on divine love. I see good everywhere and in everyone and desire good for all. Do you see that? You're fasting on error thinking. You're feasting on truth. Okay, the next one together. Well, I'll start. When tempted to hoard or withhold to make sure I have enough together, I fast from selfishness. I feast on a substance. Sorry, my bad. I fast. Let's start again. I fast from selfishness. I feast on infinite substance. God's abundant flow of good pours generously through me into the world. Okay, here's another one. When tempted to give up because I can't see a way forward, I fast from discouragement. I feast on faith. I look past appearance and trust in God as the only power working here. And when tempted to complain and focus on what's not working, I fast from pessimism. I feast on gratitude. I'm so thankful that all things are working together for the highest good. Do you get the feel for that? The temptation will come up, and we put it down, we let it go, we turn the other direction, we remind ourselves of truth. So if we were to take this metaphysical story from the scriptures and kind of just take it from top to bottom, how it's playing out in our life, the very first words in that scripture was that Jesus was led by Spirit into the wilderness. Why? To be tempted by the devil. How weird is that? To be led by Spirit into the wilderness, to be tempted by the devil. So when we think of, this is Kitty's version of our creation and why we're here. When we think of the idea that we started as spirit in the spiritual dimension and we chose to come here, what happened? We forgot who we were, right? We entered the physical dimension where things are heavier and slower and we're not aware of our oneness with God any longer. So we're in the wilderness. Do you see that? Those undisciplined thoughts, those thoughts that are unaware of clear thinking. So we chose to do that. Spirit chose to come into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. What's the devil? It's that lower consciousness, the ego that belongs to the human being. We knew there would be a human being here waiting for us that we could enter into and know that it was going to put up a fight. It was going to throw temptation in our way every time we turned around, trying to keep us from knowing the truth of who we are. Blame God or blame the devil on our problems, right? Never take responsibility for ourselves. So here's our chance to let those desires that are really just coming up out of the untrained subconscious or the fears coming up from the subconscious to transform those. They're going to come up. It's all coming from the physical dimension. So everything from sickness in the body to shortage in our funds to arguments with our loved ones to judgments of the other political party, all of that coming up. Now you're probably thinking about that, right? See how quickly our mind goes back into the wilderness? Woo, that was fast. Okay, so instead of meeting the needs of the ego, the survival, and getting everything that we want, we're here to, first of all, hear the temptation and then turn away from it. And every time we turn away from it, fast from error and feast on truth, we're training the ego a little bit more. We're putting new things in the subconscious to start informing our actions. The more that we do that and remember the truth, the more often the subconscious will join us in response. If we work in tandem, spirit and human, we can defy the gravity that you feel in this heavier, slow environment. We can let go of criticism and judgment and fear and worry, and we can start expressing the risen Christ in us. So we're talking about fasting and pivoting to the Christ consciousness to help us make the choice. And it's not going to eliminate the ego. It's just going to transform it so it can be more like the Christ in us. And however long your 40 days is depends on you. But typically, it's about the length of a lifetime, because my personal belief is when our spirit accomplishes its evolutionary journey to grow more and learn more itself by running into temptation, when it feels like it's accomplished its desire for evolution in this human experience, it will go. It decides, our spirit, we decide when we will go. And then we'll be done with the journey and we'll take another journey. So 40 days is going to be, it could be, a child who leaves at 10 or an adult who leaves at 99. It's up to the spirit within to decide that. And ultimately our goal is to get the conscious and the subconscious to line up with the Christ consciousness in us. Okay, did that make any sense? Metaphysical interpretation? Okay, so it's really kind of fun if you look at the stories. Jesus taught in parables all the time. He wasn't speaking about literal things. He was speaking about parables so they could understand better. This gives you a deeper understanding of who you are in consciousness, your metaphysicality, your beingness, and then bring it into this physical dimension. So let's try meditation. Let's see if we can do that in this quiet time together. I'll just invite you to close your eyes, fast from the physical senses for a moment. Let's not worry about who else is in the room or what you hear with your ears except for my voice. Take a deep breath. Release the tension from the body. Allow yourself to relax in your chair. Feel the faith in knowing that this chair is supporting you so you can give up all stress or strain in your muscles. And we pivot in consciousness. We turn our thoughts towards the center of our being. Imagine where your heart is in your body. We feel it beating. So grateful for this human body that allows our spirit this experience of life here. Just allow yourself to feel the gratitude for your heart that's been beating since before you were born. And while our blood flows throughout our veins, we imagine the life of God flowing through every cell of our body. You may think of the brain inside of our head, that which thinks and judges and analyzes according to our subconscious. The physical part of ourselves, helping us to speak out loud, to make decisions. Grateful for what the brain allows us to do. And now we think of the metaphysical part of our thinking and choosing. The mind of God within us. the super conscious, the wisdom and love and guidance of the Christ mind within us. At this very moment, expressing uniquely as you. This one presence that fills heaven and earth has chosen to express uniquely as you. And while our physical body may experience illness, the presence of divine life flows in perfect wholeness within us. The light of God enlivens every cell. And while our physical bank account may be less than we would desire, God's infinite substance is everywhere present, expressing as all the riches that we experience in this physical dimension. Never shortage, only flow. I fast from the idea of shortage, and I feast on the idea of divine flow, unlimited, providing every need. While I may face a big decision in my life, not sure which way to turn, thumbing through past experiences, trying to know what's best, letting the brain and the subconscious have its way, I can choose to fast from that lower thinking and turn my thoughts towards the divine mind in me that knows my need before I even ask, that brings those angels of divine ideas to shine on my path and point me in the right direction. And as I think of someone that I may struggle with in my life, the error thought, the judgment thought comes in that they are better than me or I am better than them, carrying me into a lower, heavier environment. At the same time, there is love here, the only presence in the universe, working for good. It is its only way. Love works for good. I am that love. I am that wisdom. I am that substance. I am that life. I am beyond physical. God and I are one. This is the truth of my being. And with practice, I let it be. Amen. So I'll just invite you to check out a story. If you go to BibleStudyTools.com, that's one of the places where there's the Bible online for free. And if you look for Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John, any one of those books in the Bible will have stories about Jesus' life and his parables, and it'll be fun. Then you want to switch over to TruthUnity.net and look up the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary or the Revealing Word and see what they literally just list all the words, and then you just find your word alphabetically and see what it says. Or come up with it yourself. It's really fun. Opened the Bible up to me in a whole new way. All right, this is the time in our service where we share in a physical way, but hopefully from a metaphysical consciousness. We share our tithes and our love offerings as a way to not only physically care for the ongoing ministry that you're part of, this unity community, but we also give as a representation of our love, as our awareness of God's infinite good, and as awareness of I am God expressing that love through my giving. So if you're watching online, you can do that through our website at unityinnaperville.org. And if you'd like to send a check, you can send it to our P.O. Box 9733 in Naperville, 60567. And as we give, we remind ourselves of the metaphysics, the beyond the literal of our giving with the power of love. So let's speak this blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Thank you. Ushers, will you come?
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Good morning. I'm Cindy, and I'll be sharing announcements with you today. If you are joining us for the very first time, welcome, and welcome to our online community as well. We're so glad that you're with us. Okay. If you're here in body today, if you could complete the orange registration card at the welcome table, which, not today. Okay, but we're still glad you're here. You can go. Yes, you can sign up for weekly e-news at unityinnaperville.org. Lots of good information, and just go to the calendar. Join Reverend Kitty for our backroom discussion today using the Zoom room. See the event calendar on our website for access. It starts 10 minutes after service ends. Monday morning Metaphysics will not meet tomorrow. We will begin a new book on March 18th. The Power of Decision by Raymond Charles Barker. Click the Amazon link at unityinnaperville.org to find the book, and Amazon will make a donation to Unity. Join Reverend Kitty for monthly Monday meditation on Zoom, March 18th at 7 p.m. We'll try out different styles of meditation each month with time for feedback and questions and answers. Access the Zoom link through our event calendar. Nurture your spirit through rhythm and meditation at the Spring Equinox Spirit Circle Drumming Wednesday, March 20th at 7 p.m. Please bring your drum or other instrument. Don't have one? Come anyway. Register online at the info table. Haha, there is an info table over there. Okay, the love offering is $20. We need a minimum of 5 people to register by next Sunday, or else the event might need to be canceled. Our block of Billy Elliot tickets is sold out, but there are still a few seats on the bus available. You can reserve your seat for $13 per person at the info table. Our prayer chaplain today is Carol. She can pray with you in the prayer room after the service. She can't? How about that, you know? Okay. If you can also email your name and phone number to prayer@unityinnaperville.org, and a chaplain will call you today by 1 p.m. For details on all of our events, see the event calendar in unityinnaperville.org. And now Reverend Kitty has a special announcement.
So a few things. This came up really fast. We are having our annual meeting on April 21st, and in order for us to follow our new bylaws and the dates and requirements, if you want to run for the board, I'm going to need your application by next Sunday, the 17th. So there's applications and duties over here on the table. Before you go out the door, grab one of those if you're interested and return to me by next week. Or you can email me, revkitty@Unity in Naperville, and I'll tell you a little bit more about how to access that. Secondly, if you haven't become a member of Unity and you're starting to feel like, yeah, this is my home and these are my peeps and I really want to be involved here at Unity, then you might want to become a member, and it just requires one 3-hour class, and it's only offered a couple times a year, so grab it if it's coming along. Saturday, March 30th will be online at 9:30, and Sunday, April 7th, it'll be offered here at Unity after the service. And you need to be a member if you want to run for the board, so you might want to put those two things together, okay? Also, if you want to become a prayer chaplain, you should be a member, so consider taking that class on the 30th or the 7th. And lastly, I just wanted to show you some of the pics of the destruction that happened here this week. Yeah, Steve managed to talk his friend Nick to coming in and helping us with this, and they literally took that wall down. First, they took the door down, but then they took that whole wall. Where is it? See up here in the top right corner? That's the wall that used to face out into the front room, and they scooted it back and turned it into a closet wall. It's so awesome. And lots of our friends came in on Wednesday and hauled in really heavy, they're so tiny, but they're very heavy boxes of flooring, and that'll be put in this coming week. There's also going to be the trim put back on and furniture put back in place, but we still got some other deliveries to get. We've got tables to get for our cafe, and we've got the cabinets that are coming in a couple different locations. So we still need some help with this, and I put out a sign-up sheet over there if you want to be on call. We'll let you know. It's going to happen somewhere between the 17th and the 30th that the rest of this will finalize, and we'll clean everything up. So if you can be on that team, add your name to the list, and you can always say no if you find out that I'm calling on a day you can't be there, okay? Any questions, comments? It's exciting. I know. And you are, first of all, the restrooms are available out there. And if you promise not to go too far past, okay, go past the plastic. You can take a look at what we've done so far. And the room is huge. I'm just so excited to get the tables and chairs in there and start to really have a cafe. So you're welcome to do that before you leave. But let's exit this way. Sign up for things over there. Ask me questions if you have any. And before we go, we're going to sing one more song. All right? So if you'd like to stand as you're able, let's sing.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony.
let there be peace on earth. Let it begin with me. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So our closing affirmation for today, I realized today it kind of looks like Halloween, so I figured since we showed Wicked today, why not? All right. So let's say these words together. I choose to fast from limited thinking and feast on the thoughts of God. Thank you so much for being brave today, stepping out of your comfort zone, telling the ego to take a back seat. And look, welcome. I almost thought you were somebody who forgot to change your clock. Pat, your son's here. All right, what are we doing? You're saying hi to somebody that you haven't met yet. If you want to go take a sneak peek at what's outside that door, you're welcome to do that. Want to hang out in the parking lot? You're welcome to do that. Love you guys. Thanks for joining us.
And to our friends online, hey, thank you for taking the time, rolling out of bed, grabbing your cup of coffee, and joining us. I wish we had a camera that we could take into the front room wouldn't that be cool? You saw the pictures. They were awesome. You ready, guys? 1, 2, 3. Through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. Through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. A mighty river is flowing, bringing life to the land. Abundance flows as I fully extend, from head to heart to hands. Come on now. Through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. Through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. I share from the bounty, because I understand. The blessings roll as I simply roll, from head to heart to hands. Through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands.
New thought is that, this one.
Me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. Let's sing the chorus again, guys. Through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. Through me, Spirit move through. Hey, Joe. From head to heart to hands. From head to heart to hands. From head to heart to hands. Yeah. Oh. See you next week. Hi, baby.